sounding really good.
Thanks.
Just over here.
Been bored during the quarantine. I've taken up a new hobby. I built this with my bare hands. The string's actually laced together with Bailey's hair and my hair. Not just kidding, I got it for Christmas. But I've gotten to finally like play and practice a little bit.
If you could make that with your bare hands like me if I made his bow, that would be impressive.
It's resourcefulness during the quarantine.
I'm just reading. Saints, have you guys read this? This is the second volume. I'm only this far, but it's pretty good.
And they're supposed to for Trek. I don't know the current state of Trek.
I think that you're supposed to read the first volume of Saints for Trek, so don't know what's happening with that, but read it anyways because it's super good.
You can listen
Where's
to
the camera?
The camera's right there.
Sorry. Okay. Good. I was looking at the red button. Hey guys, how you doing? Hope you're doing good. Okay, there you are.
Back to the Saints. On the Gospel Library, you can listen to it. It has the audio, and I think it's only like 8 hours to listen to. So if you struggle reading, wouldn't be too hard to follow along and listen to.
Yeah. Don't do it before you go to bed though, because it'll be over by the time you wake up. All right. Well, cheesy as ever. Has your week been good? Ours has been good. We've been talking about how fast the days are going, even though we're stuck inside. Safe inside, actually. And I keep touching my face, but I just washed my hands not too long ago.
I haven't, so I won't be touching my face. But we were talking about that seriously last night, how the days kind of seem like they've been going by fast, and I brought up the point of maybe a tender mercy of the Lord because, I mean, being stuck inside, it can be sometimes tough.
Yes.
So the fact that it's already Friday is nice.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
So with General Conference starting tomorrow and being Sunday and there not really being a lesson, we thought instead of going over the Come Follow Me, which is Easter, which we'll prep for next week, we thought we'd share some things and thoughts we have for General Conference. So.
Yep. Yeah. So General Conference is going to be amazing as always, but I think just like President Nelson talked to us last year, that this is going to be unforgettable, and I really believe that because of the current situation that we're in, but also because the Lord is going to speak to us like he always does through General Conference. But I reached out to some of the leaders in the ward and wanted to see how they prepped for General Conference, and I know it's tomorrow and Sunday, but there's still time for you to take an hour or a few minutes and prep your mind and your heart for the messages that you're going to hear. It's never too late. And I hope that you take this challenge to either look at some of the videos that we're going to post below or listen to the counsel of some of your leaders. So I reached out to Sister Anderson, and she said, when I was younger, my thought process about General Conference was that I had to watch. I usually ended up falling asleep during it. Been there. But as I got older, my thoughts went from had to watch to I'm so excited to be able to watch. I listened to the counsel of the prophet and the other general authorities with new eyes and ears. I took notes. I came up with specific questions and thoughts, hoping and anticipating the answers I might receive. I used to do other things while conference was on because I was still listening. But again, I changed my attitude and focused on conference in both watching and listening. I put away distractions. For this conference, I've been following the counsel of President Nelson to study about the prophet Joseph Smith and the first vision. I have been reflecting on my own experience in the Sacred Grove. Preparation has always included personal prayer. Isn't she awesome? Yes, Annette, there were so many things in there that we can learn from. I love that she recognized that there's a difference between listening and doing something like playing with something or color, I don't know. But there's a difference when you're actually really paying attention, like soaking in the spirit and the information that you're given.
Yeah, I think it's a big thing, just prepping for it in little things like that, like not having distractions. I think for me, one thing I'm going to really make sure and do is get to bed at a good time tonight, eat a good breakfast, not a big breakfast because I will get sleepy, but eat a good breakfast, and then just be prayerful. And I actually had the Book of Mormon again. I lost the page, but it was in Mosiah, and it was what King Mosiah said. It's
King
chapter
Benjamin.
2, yes, King Benjamin in Mosiah, so 2 verse 9.
2 verse 9.
This is the start of essentially his general conference that he gave to his people. And he really focused on telling them how they should prepare. He said, you should, let's see, open your ears that you may hear, and your hearts that you may understand, and your minds that the mysteries of God may be unfolded to your view. I think that's such a cool way to put it, and a great suggestion for us too now in this day and age. Not just for Mosiah, for King Benjamin when he was talking to his people, but for us, just be ready. You don't know what Heavenly Father will have to share for you, so be ready, be present, be well rested, and ready for revelation.
Yeah, revelation can come in so many different ways. For me, Mitchell was actually just talking about how he takes notes, and I thought it was really cool. Do you want to share that really quick?
So I used to take notes, and actually started in seminary. I would take notes and I'd write down exactly what whoever was talking was saying.
I've done that too. Like you're like hurrying and trying to write everything down, and it's like feels rushed.
And some of the people that, some of the apostles and prophets, will say, okay, here are 4 things we can do, or 5 things, or 10, and you want to list out everything. Well, we're really fortunate in this day and age that right away we have the video. We can go back and see what number 9 was, or 8, or whichever one we get lost on. And I think the text turns around pretty quickly too. With within a week we can read it.
Super quick.
So rather than really focusing on exactly what they said, I've been in the pastoral conferences just focusing on how I feel or what impressions I have. During the priesthood session they talk a lot about ministering, or it was it's ministering now, so that's what it is. So you can be telling stories about that, and I may think, how is my ministering family doing? Or they'll share another experience, and I may think of some person or family member, and I'll jot down, hey, reach out to so-and-so after general conference and see how they're doing. Just be aware that it might not be even really on the topic, but just because we're doing what Heavenly Father wants us to do, right? Participating in general conference and listening to the speakers, we are being obedient, we're open and worthy of revelation, and so it may be things that we may not be expecting. And I think that's what's cool too with having questions going into general conference. It doesn't have to be gospel related questions, but it can be, hey, what should I study in school, or what job should I look into? For us, we have a couple. One that we have is, how many times should we as a family go to the temple each month, or what cadence should we go to the temple? And I don't think that, sometimes they do. They say, hey, go as often as you can, or bare minimum, you should go 1 time a month, but
we want to know what's right for our family.
Yeah, and I think
like what the Lord wants from us.
No, one particular speaker will say that, but we'll be able to feel an impression and know, whether it's during conference or after conference, we'll be able to receive that answer. Yeah.
Conference can be life-changing, and I'm going to share this story. We didn't talk about this before, but I know that he knows which story I'm talking about. So, how many years ago was this?
This was in 2016.
2016. Okay, so 4 years ago, Mitchell and I were living in Southern California. We were working for a solar company, doing sales. I was running their office there. Mitchell was my trainer for all the employees, and we were making good money. Like, we were pretty comfortable. We were 5 minutes from Disneyland. We were loving life. We didn't have any babies at the time. We had a puppy, and that was fun. We went to the beach, and we just kind of had this like little dream vacation life almost, right? We would go to Disneyland like 2 or 3 times a week, and it was really fun. Well, we decided to come home from conference, and we hadn't really prepped any.
Or come to Utah to go to conference.
Yeah, come home. Yeah, home meaning Utah for conference, and we hadn't gone over any questions that our family needed answers to. But it was during Elder Holland's talk. Mitchell and I both turned to each other and we were like, it's time to come home.
And that talk, it was about motherhood, right?
Yeah.
And mothers, right? Which, it kind of got us in the thought of, okay, like for us to have kids, we probably definitely want to be in Utah, but it wasn't necessarily like...
Right, and that was 4 years ago. Declan's only 2, so it wasn't like, come home, it's time to start a family. but the Spirit spoke to us both in that moment, and I will never forget the feeling that I felt during that conference of the Lord knows me, and the Lord's going to direct my path, and we just have to act. And that's kind of a big thing to do. We quit our jobs like that day, I think, or we maybe did it on Monday, called our big bosses and like, hey, we're moving back to Utah. We don't need to be a part of this company anymore. And 4 days later, we had moved back. We had rented a U-Haul and moved everything back with no jobs out here, no prospect of jobs really, but everything lined right back up. We were working like the next week at jobs, and it led us eventually to here. So conference can be life-changing if you act on the impressions that the Lord's sending you, because He will be sending you messages, but you have to receive them, open up your heart, and then take that initiative to act on those promptings. And it might not be that you just like jump and move somewhere or change jobs or anything like that. It might be just like what he was talking about. Contact this person, but you don't know what that could do for that person. So I hope that you all take the initiative to act on the promptings that you're receiving during General Conference, because it's going to be amazing.
It's super awesome. So I hope that you guys are doing well, staying safe, having fun. We miss you and love you from a safe 6 feet away, because we are practicing social distancing in our house.
We're awesome at social distancing.
We are doing really well.
We're doing really good. It's killing me. Every time I see any of you out on the street, through your windows, I just like want to like bear hug you. That's just who I am as a person. We'll get you some water.
Just a minute.
Declan's watching Frozen and eating 4 Oreo cookies. That's what's kept her quiet. So
our goal too has been to not make all of our videos 30 minutes long. The first one was fun. We didn't know where we were going, but we've since organized, so we will keep it short. Hope you guys are doing good. Hope you guys enjoy General Conference.
Yes.
Excited to have all this crazy COVID-19 stuff done with, so that we can get back to church. It was funny. We were driving around. Just driving through Pleasant Grove, going up to the G.
Yeah, literally just getting out of the house from a safe distance from others.
And we passed a bunch of churches, and Declan from our car seat says, I miss church.
I need church.
I need church. And we're like, we do too.
We do
miss it.
too.
It's a fun opportunity to be able to, have a really unique General Conference, not only because it is celebrating, the bicentennial of the Restoration, but because it's going to be all through video. And then also having the opportunity to have church, sacrament meeting in our homes. This is a cool experience that I think we'll look back on. And
that's right, because we'll be able to do sacrament. Can we do sacrament on that day?
I don't think we'll do sacrament on General Conference Day.
Okay.
Talking about
sorry,
what we have.
Don't do that. I don't know.
Yeah. Ask Bishop.
Ask Bishop. Bishop? I'm not sure. That's a great question. There was one more other thing I want to make sure. Oh, below we're going to put. I always want to do that.
Check in the links below in the description.
We're going to put some videos that the First Presidency and the church have put out about the restoration, so you can prepare. And then maybe we can put a link for the podcast as well, because even just the first one, you could really get them done before General Conference tomorrow. So they're awesome. But just be reflective and be prepared for some serious revelation. Anything else?
That's it.
We love you guys. You're awesome. We miss you.